All right, Mr. 90s Whiz Kid here for another episode of Back on the Road. Today we will be doing the video instead of just the audio. I got to talk to you about what's been going on with pro wrestling in this city, in the city of Philadelphia. The Icon shows at the arena have been great. Battleground and MLW just came through. We just saw Bobby Fish come through, and then he was on AEW a couple days later. We've been seeing some really great workers come through the area, and Philly pro wrestling in Philly is back, without a doubt. Great work done at the arena. Great work going on with all the workers and the promoters. And I'm happy enough just to be a runner in the back, man. And I got this platform here, so I'm happy to do my thing. So I don't really give a shit what anybody thinks, you know? If Jericho wants to call me a gopher, then fuck him. I don't care. I am, dude. That's not why I'm here. So I gotta talk about this. So at the Icon show, there was a lot of people there. We got to meet up with Damian Kane. I got to have a conversation with Ron Simmons about the Nation At Domination, which I'll give you a little stuff about that. I talked to Ron Simmons, and he was talking about Jamie Dundee. Well, I brought up Jamie Dundee. I said, "Is Jamie really crazy like that? Like, what's up with him, man?" He goes, "Well, he's crazy, but he's cool." And I knew what he meant when he said that. And you know, he was saying Wolfie D was always cool. So he said those guys were cool, man. So always remember that, guys out there. I know that Jamie Dundee has done some really crazy shit, some of it on camera and some of it off camera, but Ron Simmons says he's cool. I say he's cool. Thumbs up, Jamie Dundee. And like we all know here at the Pro Wrestling Archives, racism is not tolerated, so we don't want anything to do with any of that. And we just want to say, power to the nation of motherfucking domination. Ron Simmons did say this. He said that Jamie Dundee fit well with the nation. And he was talking about PG-13. And I agree with him that they were a very good addition to what was going on with that, how they pulled that off. Okay, back to Icons. Who else did we see? We saw the Blue Meanie, and it is the Blue Meanie's time. And he's over like Rover here in Philly. So I want to actually elaborate on something, too, because I was thinking about this the other day when I was talking to Meanie. I feel the reason why that Meanie and JBL situation happened, and I'm going to go off the wall and say this, man, is Meanie has something with pro wrestling. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but Meanie knows pro wrestling, man, and he exudes that in his goofy style of presenting it. It's a really beautiful thing, man, and I always knew Meanie was a real cat, but I didn't really know to the depths of that until I've seen him a lot lately. And I gotta say that, man, you know, maybe JBL was a little jealous that Meanie has something that JBL doesn't have. That's the only thing I can think of, and I'm not even trying to disrespect JBL, but when things like that happen, you have to try and examine them and figure out why they happen. And, you know, I think Meanie shines a certain way, and JBL is just, you know, a hard-ass dude or whatever that's, you know, out there doing maybe some of Vince's dirty work, some of the bullying shit or whatever, but whatever. I'm just saying, you can't sleep on the Blue Meanie, and it is the Blue Meanie's time, if you ask me. Some other guys that were at Icons, I'll just go right down the list. Bubba Ray Dudley was there. I spoke with him. Who else was there? Tony Atlas was there. And I don't know what to think of Tony with all the stuff coming out, so I just kind of steered clear. But he was always one of my dad's favorite wrestlers, so I have to give Tony his props. Who else was there? Billy Gunn was there again, I believe. There was a lot of AEW women there. I heard Penelope Ford was there. I didn't see her. If I did see her, I didn't recognize her because some of these girls look a lot different when they're out at these Icon shows. I saw Deborah McMichael, and I spoke with her, and she declined wanting to do an interview, but when I spoke with her, I just thanked her for doing what she did because, you know, I really appreciate them divas from the 90s. They really have a special place in my heart. Growing up watching them and seeing what they did, you know, and Deborah McMichael was a sweetheart when I met her, so I just want to say that. I did not get a chance to run into Sonny. I didn't even know she was there. I walked through the place. I didn't see her. I didn't recognize her or whatever. I don't know. So, but she was gone by the time I figured out that she was there. Who else? There's a lot of guys there, man. The Damian Kane interview was really interesting because Damian Kane has not stepped foot in that building since September of 1996. Okay? If you check the time, that's a long time ago, man. That was around the time when Tupac died. That's how long ago it was. All right? Damian Kane is one of the originators in ECW. He's the godfather of Extreme. And that he is. And it's so nice to see him come back out. And I think he's got something going on with Heyman. I don't understand it, but it's not for me to understand. But I would like to see, I don't know, maybe Damian Kane and Paul Heyman get in the ring. I'd pay to see that. So that was Icons. Battlegrounds was great. Props to Ravens Druids who got to come out at the arena. You know who you are. A couple buddies of mine. Also, there were some great matches, especially the main event. What happened was the show was a slow starter, but then by the time it got to the main event, it was RVD, Bubba Ray Dudley versus Matt Hardy and one of Matt Hardy's guys, and Rob Van Dam was going Cypress, if you know what I'm saying, and the Sandman was going, Rolling Stones. That motherfucker's still going. And he poured a beer down my throat that night. And I was there front row. I seen some people get beered at the arena by the Sandman. And it got a little funny, man. I got out of control. So then a couple of weeks goes by and MLW comes through the ECW arena. And it was great. It was great. The main event was the highlight, of course. Jacob Fatu versus Hammerstone. And Jacob Fatu is just a really impressive big man who could fly around and brawl and shit. I mean, he's very, very well-rounded in the ring. And Hammerstone is a powerhouse. And while we were, I was giving him a lift to the show, and we got to talk about pro wrestling and stuff. I saw where Hammerstone's head was at with all this, and, he's a part of the new guard when it comes to pro wrestling. And this is what I'll say, all right? The new guard in music has been good in some ways, okay? The new guard in pro wrestling has yet to prove themselves completely, okay? That 2010 era on. Hammerstone, to me, at the arena, I've seen some really great shows with him, and he's done some really great shit. So I'm excluding him from that. But this new guard in pro wrestling, this is what we're talking about, all right? We know how Cornette feels about it, and we know how the television product has been presented from WWE and AEW. But there's a lot of talent there. It's just a matter of how far is society off its rocker, and how can we bring it back? And how can we get these younger guys over, and how can we maintain the essence of what pro wrestling is? And I think it can be done, man. And I want you all to go out there and watch the last video I did about Paul Heyman, or directed at Paul Heyman, because I think you guys will understand my proposition for what I think could happen that could really help pro wrestling in the long run. My idea is get back to VHS and create new VHS, old VCRs, new VCRs, for a new time period, a new generation. Yeah. So, with all that being said, MLW put on a great show and treated us really good there. And then we have AEW coming to Philadelphia. And we just saw that last night. We saw some great wrestling matches. Man, Luchasaurus blew my mind last night. I didn't know what to make of him for a little while, but then when I saw him in that 8-man tag or whatever it was just phenomenal. And that was a great match. I mean, there were some great spots that reminded me of ECW and the Japanese style. So that was really cool to see that on television again. Thank you guys at AEW. And I know I just burned Jericho in that other video, but I just want to say to all you guys at AEW, I do appreciate your hard work, and thanks for preserving some of that ECW and Japanese wrestling. We need that, you know? Now, I've always been a Britt Baker fan. I've always been an MJF fan. I'm a fan of real heels. So, I'm hoping that the Mr. 90s Whiz Kid can turn things around and can help everybody else get in touch with their inner heel. Because I think that's what needs to happen in the world of pro wrestling. And it ain't that hard. It ain't that hard. So, with that being said, I would like to make my next challenge to you, Eric Bischoff, because I'm taking something from you, even though it's mine. I'm Mr. 90s Whiz Kid now, Uncle Eric. And I want you to know something. I'm going to be seeing you very soon. Very soon. And I want you to be ready, Eric. Because if it's up to me, I might have to take out your Poindexter ass once and for all. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Pro Wrestling Archives. This is Mr. 90s Whiz Kid. And pro wrestling is back all over the world.